Hey everybody, Hugo here again, and I am very excited because I just got my brand new EVGA GeForce GTX 970 for the Win Plus. It just came in yesterday and I finally had a chance to take it out of the box and get it ready to install on my computer here. I was going to do an unboxing video on this card, but I thought probably not necessary since there's already some unboxing videos out there, and really we all pretty much know what comes in the box with these cards. You get the case badge, you get some cables, you get a poster, a cool gaming poster from EVGA, but that's pretty much it. What I did want to do, however, is I want to go ahead and compare the card a little bit to the original EVGA GeForce GTX 970 for the Win, which I have right here. I installed the backplate on my card that I got for free through EVGA's promotion back in November, December of last year, and I actually have another video up on my channel talking about a little more about the card and the backplate. What I wanted to do is make a little video comparing the two, and the main differences between the two, since the new For the Win Plus pretty much is replacing the original For the Win. Clock speed wise, there's really no difference. In fact, they're identical clock speeds, but make no mistakes, the cards are different. The new For the Win Plus is a better card in my opinion because it addresses some issues that the original For the Win had, some criticisms that people had of the card, myself included. Right off the bat, you'll notice the For the Win Plus comes with a backplate pre-installed straight from the factory, which is really nice for a premium card. EVGA was one of the few companies that wasn't doing that with their top-end card, unlike companies like I believe MSI, Gigabyte, and ASUS do have backplates that come included with their cards. So that's really nice that it comes included. It covers the memory modules on the back and offers rigidity. It looks really nice, and I mean, I'm sure it helps with the temperatures, even if it's just a little bit. Overall, I think it's an aesthetic thing. It looks really good. Another key difference between the For the Win Plus and the original For the Win is the For the Win Plus now goes from a dual 6-pin power configuration to a 6-pin plus 8-pin. And my understanding is because the new For the Win Plus uses a 6+2 phase power configuration, which is more than the 4+2 phase power configuration that was on the original For the Win, which only had dual 6-pin power plugs here. It's not going to be a big deal to me because the cables that I have in my case already have the additional two pins for the 8-pin. But just keep that in mind if you're looking at getting the For the Win Plus. Also, notice the difference in size between the two cards. The For the Win Plus is significantly longer. Obviously because it's a different PCB design, more power phases, and all that good stuff. Another key difference between the two cards is the I/O ports. The original For the Win card had the two DVI ports, a display port, and an HDMI port. The new For the Win Plus gets rid of one of the DVI ports, the DVI single link port, and replaces it with two additional display ports, which I personally am a fan of. Let me see if I get that to focus there. So you still have the dual link DVI, the HDMI, and a display port, but now instead of a second single link DVI, you get two additional display ports. So better in my opinion, more connectivity and a little more future proof, I think, since I think DisplayPort's really going to be the future of newer high-end monitors moving forward. Also, you'll notice the high flow bracket on the For the Win Plus is higher flow than the high flow on the original For the Win. Let me put them both here to compare them. The original For the Win had decent flow, as you can see by the little cutouts there, but the For the Win Plus just has a lot more there, which, can't complain about that. It's more flow, lower temperatures. I'm sure nobody will be against that. Now, those are two primary differences. Also, I should probably mention the 6+2 power phases. What it actually, from what I've gathered, it's supposed to offer higher power to the card, higher potential power, by way of what's called a higher power target. The original card was able to go, I believe it was 110% maximum power, and the new one goes up to 133%, which my understanding is that's going to help you overclock better, and it's going to help your card run at a higher clock speed, a higher turbo clock, more consistently. The original For the Win did have a problem that's well documented on the EVGA forums, where people are claiming that the card is hitting the power ceiling very early and causing it to throttle down. This new card is supposed to address that issue, which I think is a great thing. Another key difference that I think is worth noting on between the For the Win Plus and the For the Win card is the For the Win card was originally set up with a 3 BIOS design, which a lot of people thought it was kind of interesting, since a lot of their high-end cards don't even have 3 BIOS design. I myself thought that was interesting also, but I mean, I'm not going to complain. 3 BIOSes isn't going to affect the functionality of the card in a negative way. Really, it could only help it if you use them all. The new For the Win Plus, however, only has a 2 BIOS design, which I think is perfectly acceptable also. The default BIOS setting for the Win Plus, I believe, is for the 0 decibel fan design, so that basically the fans will not kick on unless the card reaches, I believe, 60 degrees Celsius, at which point the fans will slowly start ramping up in an attempt to keep the card, relatively cool. Obviously, the hotter it gets, based on more intensive gaming you do, the faster the fans are going to spin. The second BIOS, from my understanding, is just simply a more aggressive fan curve. I don't know if that one has a 0 decibel, the 0 decibel fan feature. I do know, however, that people report that the fan definitely is more noticeable with the second BIOS, on the second setting. So it'd be something to consider if maybe you're overclocking a little more, or if you're in a hotter environment and you just want the card to run cooler. Just keep that in mind. And it is easier to access the BIOS on this new For the Win Plus. It's just a little switch right there, right where my thumb fingernail is there. On the original For the Win, it was a little bit more complicated. There was tiny little dip switches on the back corner of the card right here, and it's not very clear, not very clear how you actually use them. When I installed the custom BIOS on my card, I had to go to the forums and find a guide as to what the switches mean here, and I'm glad I did, because they have very specific function. It's not just a matter of switching it, get a different BIOS. I mean, there's a lock switch, and it's interesting. So if you have this card and you want to try a different BIOS, I suggest looking up the guide on how to modify the BIOS, the little dip switches back here. But yeah, overall, I've been really happy with the For the Win, and now I'm really excited to try the For the Win Plus. Another pretty significant difference between the For the Win Plus and the original For the Win card is going to be the cooler design. The original For the Win actually used a unique heatsink design that differed from the rest of EVGA's Geforce 970 line. It was also one of the reasons why I purchased the For the Win Plus. I'm sorry, the original For the Win. It was a beefier heatsink. It had this little heat spreader here which really only covers the back end here of the card, which from my understanding is where the VRMs are actually located. This heat spreader down here doesn't actually cover any of the front RAM modules. It's something that I later found out. The new For the Win Plus changes that. The For the Win Plus actually has an even beefier heatsink design that EVGA claims will give you 6% cooler temperatures or something along those lines. The heat pipes, while it is less, the For the Win Plus uses 3 heat pipes versus 4 on the original For the Win. They are bigger heat pipes, and these are fully copper heat pipes. These here, I originally thought they were maybe tin coated copper, but it turns out they're not. I believe they're aluminum, and that would explain also why there's better cooling performance on the For the Win Plus. The For the Win Plus, if you'll notice, besides coming with the backplate from the factory, it also has a heat spreader that covers the entire length of the PCB, starting from the back over here, all the way to the front. This heat spreader here covers all the VRMs. Everything that generates heat, including all of the memory modules. So you're going to get better overall, more efficient cooling with this card, with the For the Win Plus compared to the original For the Win. I also wanted to note that along with the For the Win Plus, EVGA also released a new version of the super clocked or SSC 970 card, which is actually based on the exact same design as the For the One Plus. Literally, the only difference between the For the One Plus and the new SSC card is that the For the One Plus has higher clock speeds, and it comes with a backplate. The super clocked or the SSC does not come with a backplate, and it does have lower clock speeds. That's literally the only difference. The SSC does come with the dual BIOS. It comes with the better heatsink. It obviously has the ACX 2.0. It has the same I/O ports on the front, the same I/O port configuration. It has the same heat spreader here. It has everything the same, with the exception of the clock speeds and the backplate. So keep that in mind. If you want to save a little bit of money, you might want to go with that one as opposed to the For the One Plus. I personally say go for the For the One Plus, because the backplate is just so beautiful. I mean, how could you not think this thing is how could you not think this thing is not gorgeous? You know, it's gorgeous. I like it a lot. But anyways, yeah, that's just a really quick look at the For the One Plus compared to the original For the Win, just in case anybody was curious what the differences were. Basically, just to recap, the main differences is a different cooler design, a different PCB design that uses a 6+2 power phase configuration as opposed to a 4+2 power phase configuration. That also means that it uses a 6-pin power connector and an 8-pin power connector as opposed to 2 6-pins on the original For the Win. It has a better cooling design, like I mentioned. It has a full PCB backplate, a full PCB heat spreader on the front of the card. It also has different I/O configurations. So remember, something I ran into, my monitors were both using DVI, and I had to switch one to the HDMI now because the new For the One Plus no longer has a second DVI single link port. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I can make more in the future. Let me know, just thumbs up if you like it. Thanks, guys.